Imagine watching someone drag a knife across a doll made of wet clay, and instantly a matching bleeding wound opens up on your own chest. There is an isolated village where people live in absolute fear of this exact scenario. Their society operates on a strict, non-negotiable rule. After dark, you never share a piece of your clothing, a fingernail, or a single strand of hair with a stranger. Arav is 26 years old, city-educated, and living in the year 2026. When the village elders warn him about the local customs, he laughs. To him, these are just outdated superstitions built on paranoia. The very next evening, a stranger dressed entirely in black arrives at Arav's home. The man asks for a glass of water. While Arav's mother steps inside to get it, the stranger plucks a few loose strands of Arav's hair caught in the wooden doorframe and quietly leaves. Deep in the village graveyard, this stranger begins a meticulous process. He mixes wet mud and ash with Arav's stolen hair to sculpt a human figure. He presses 2 black seeds into the face for eyes. Finally, he ties a red thread around the clay chest, whispering a single line about stealing his victim's breath. Because Arav dismissed the village rules as mere folklore, he didn't think twice about leaving strangers unattended near his home. His modern rationality provided an ancient practitioner with the exact biological anchor required to hijack his life force. At the exact moment the thread is tied in the graveyard, Arav jolts awake in his bed. His airway closes. He starts choking on nothing. He looks out his bedroom window through the pouring rain and sees 2 glowing red eyes staring back at him before vanishing into the dark. The morning light reveals hard physical evidence. Arav finds 3 deep, unexplained scratches carved into his neck. Outside his window, the mud holds a set of bare footprints. Strangely, the toes are pointed directly toward the house, but there are no footprints walking away. Arav and his mother go straight to the village elder, Baba Harinath. The old man takes one look at the scratches, checks Arav's pulse, and delivers the diagnosis. Arav has been targeted by a clay effigy binding. Baba Harinath describes an invisible bridge, a tether where clay and man are no longer separate. Whatever the mud feels, flesh endures. Back in the graveyard, the tantric twists the doll's right arm. Instantly, Arav's own arm snaps in half. The X-ray confirms a severe spiral fracture, but the doctor is baffled by the lack of external bruising. It is as if the bone was twisted from the inside out by a force that left the skin untouched. Modern medicine can document the trauma, but it cannot find the hands that caused it. The attack escalates from distant physical trauma to direct psychological warfare. At exactly 3 a.m., Arav hears a voice outside his bedroom. It sounds exactly like his mother, crying and begging for him to open the door and save her. Baba Harinath yells from the hallway to keep the door shut, warning that the entity outside is not human. Then, the bedroom door slowly unlatches and creeps open on its own. A trail of tiny, muddy footprints tracks directly from the hallway into the center of Arav's room. Standing on the floorboards is the intruder itself, a small effigy constructed of mud and ash. It looks up at Arav, its eyes glowing red in the dark, and speaks, declaring that it is now his turn. Panic sets in. Arav grabs the clay doll and violently smashes it against the floorboards to destroy it. The moment the clay shatters, Arav collapses, coughing up blood. The impact of the throw just broke his own ribs and triggered massive internal bleeding. Striking the proxy is a closed loop of self-destruction. The victim's survival strictly requires bypassing the immediate threat entirely. They must locate the original caster and destroy the source magic without harming the tethered vessel. At 2:30 in the morning, Baba Harinath and 4 villagers carrying torches lead a bleeded Arav out into the thick fog of the graveyard. They locate a ruined temple hidden in the trees. Inside, hundreds of clay effigies line the walls, each wearing a tag with a human name. The tantric is sitting in the center of the ruins. He picks up the effigy labeled with Arav's name and presses a steel knife against the clay throat. Instantly, a thin line of blood begins pouring down Arav's actual neck. Arav uses the last of his strength to lunge forward, physically tackling the tantric to stop the blade from cutting deeper. While they struggle on the stone floor, Baba Harinath grabs a burning oil lamp and hurls it directly onto the original effigy. The clay figure bursts into flames. As the effigy burns down to ash, the magical binding violently unravels. The tantric screams as his power breaks, and his physical body rapidly crumbles into dust on the temple floor, blowing away into the night air. As the doll becomes a pile of cold ash, the agonizing pressure holding Arav's body in a state of trauma finally releases. The bleeding stops. His breath, which had been shallow and mechanical, returns in a deep, natural surge. While the physical fractures will take months to heal, the invisible force actively tearing his body apart has evaporated. 3 months pass, the village returns to normal, and the ruined temple is left abandoned. A new family moves into the area, unaware of the village's strict rules regarding strangers and the dark. One afternoon, the family's young son is playing in the dirt behind their house. He digs his hands into the soft earth and unearths an old wooden box. Inside rests a small, dormant clay effigy with its eyes firmly shut. The boy reaches in and picks it up. The moment human skin makes contact with the clay, the doll's eyes slowly snap open. The mud shifts, forming a mouth, and it whispers directly to the child, warning him that it is now his turn. By the next morning, the boy vanishes without a trace. There are no footprints leading away from the house, and no ransom demands. The magic survived the tantric's death, waiting quietly in the soil for a new biological anchor. Skepticism will not protect you from the mechanics of older, quieter forces. So if you are in an unfamiliar place and a stranger asks for a glass of water and a piece of your hair, walk away, or the next effigy they sculpt might just be yours.